the far corner of the world lies an ancient land shrouded in mystery. With over 3 million square blocks, this place is brimming with the extraordinary and the inexplicable. From towering cobblestone structures to ancient trees unlike any found today. This is a special world. The old inhabitants of this land may be long gone, but the ancient mobs that once shared this world with them still linger on. Beyond its wonders, secrets may be hiding in plain sight. This is the oldest land known in this world. This is Infdev. We just crossed the Alpha Sea and landed in the south of the Infdev lands. Right away, we notice how different this place is. Something odd here makes my arms flail quite a bit as I walk around. Now, while the crew prepares the equipment for our expedition to the north, let's take a look at this first. For us, this region is known as Infdev, as these lands were all generated during the Infdev era. But the mobs that used to live here certainly had a different name for it. Aurora. Aurorans are long gone from this land. They either migrated somewhere else or they perished. However, they left behind some of the most amazing monuments ever encountered, some of which may still be occupied today. And if we're lucky, we might even encounter a wanderer roaming through this ancient land. Alright, everyone's ready. Let's go. We have a long journey ahead of us. But our first stop is not too far from here. Even though the Infdev lands were well known to the Aurorans, this particular mountain here remained unexplored by them. Aurorans would rarely travel this far south. It was only when piglins ventured into this area that they stumbled upon a remarkable find deep within the mountain's caves. Red dust Red dust, or redstone dust, as it is commonly known, is a mineral with extraordinary capabilities. It truly revolutionized the way we live and allowed us to create contraptions that were once unimaginable. Take this door, for example. With this amazing red dust here, I'm able to transmit a signal and open that door right up on that hill, just by switching this lever. Powerful stuff. But opening doors isn't the only thing redstone can do. This broadcast here that you are watching right now was only made possible due to the hard work of all of the amazing scientists and redstoners that created some of the most complex machines that have ever existed. As we leave the red dust mine behind, we find ourselves in the middle of a place known as Obsidian Fall. This place was named after a towering mountain that cuts the land in two. This unusual mountain is made almost entirely of cobblestone. Now, how this was formed, it's still a mystery, but the fact that obsidian blocks can be found mixed in certain places shows us that lava sources were present here at some point, and were rapidly cooled down by flowing water. We believe that this formation was sudden. You can still see that the vegetation that was once present in this area is still under some of these rocks. But while we still debate its origins, not too far from here, we may have some clues left behind by a mysterious mob. These small towers made of cobblestone are a common sight in the south of Infdev. We believe that these were research sites. The mobs that lived here were probably experimenting with the environment, given the strange things that can be found here. Now, this location in particular has some very unique experiments. Whoever built this clearly was testing out the properties of water and lava. There are even signs here where a mob called Chunks was experimenting with lava casting. Does this mean that these mobs were the ones that made that cobblestone mountain? Or were they simply trying to recreate that phenomenon? Well, we still don't know. But one thing is certain. This is not the last time we'll encounter a cobblestone formation in our journey. Leaving behind this cobblestone mountain, we continue our journey to the north. Traversing this old terrain is hard work. Going through these hills and valleys takes time. And the closer we get to the center of Aurora, the more strange the terrain will become. But it's getting late, and our guide advises us to make camp for the night. It is not safe to cross these lands in the dark. Before we finish for the day, let's take a quick look at this first. See how the world generation abruptly changes? If we stand right here, we can clearly see a line dividing the land in two. Aurora is filled with places like this. A sudden change in elevation, and you could fall into a deep crater. We want to avoid any accidents, so we'll stay put for the night and continue tomorrow. As the sun sets in the south, we gather around the fire to eat some delicious bread. There's nothing better than a warm night and a full belly as we rest by the fire. The night now covers the land, and we witness something breathtaking. We don't get to see this beautiful night sky every night, but here in Aurora, the stars seem to shine brighter than ever every night. But off in the distance, we can hear hostile mobs wandering about. These open fields attract many hostile mobs when it's dark. They roam the land in search of wanderers. Luckily, we made it through the night, and as the first rays of dawn painted the sky, we were ready to grab some milk and get back on the road. Leaving Obsidian Fall behind, we enter another region of Infdev, the Shattered Lands. And here, in the crossroads, we stumble upon a magnificent sight. There are 2 roads connecting here, and the sign tells travelers what lies ahead. Off in the distance, Diamond Castle appears into view. This is the most advanced building we'll encounter here in the south of Aurora. Built atop of a diamond mine, this place is responsible for over 90% of all diamonds ever mined by the Aurorans. This castle can house up to 20 mobs, each with their own specialized roles. Soldiers, miners, toolsmiths, and cooks would all have been essential to the operation of this fortress. Right through here is where the mobs would stay. There are 4 bedrooms for the workers, each with 2 single-size beds, a toilet, and a shower room. There's also a very luxurious chamber here, with a triple-size bed, a fireplace, and its own bathtub. This was possibly made for whoever was in charge of this place. And at the very end of the hall, a meeting room where it is believed mobs would discuss the affairs of the day. The vault where they would keep the riches found deep in the mines is located at the end of this room. Here we can see that some of those valuables were left behind. The mine entrance was actually located inside the castle. A simple staircase through this door would take the miners to the depths of the world. But diamonds were not the only treasure within this mine. Gold, iron, and coal were also extracted in abundance, adding to the mine's value. Now, before we make our way out of here, there seems to be another cobblestone formation right outside the castle. Although this one has a more defined shape, it's still pouring lava out of some of its cracks. Could this be mob-made? And if so, is this the work of the builder chunks? We can only guess at this point. Continuing our journey to the north, we are in awe with the landscape that is developing in front of us. The terrain seems to change formation once again, making traveling even more difficult. We rely on roads made by the Aurorans to cross the land, and from time to time, a mob can be seen far off in the distance, wandering through this ancient world. Travelers aren't weary of strangers here, and we shall respect that. The Shadowlands fades behind us as we enter the heart of Aurora. We are finally at the spawnlands. The terrain here can be harsh to the extreme. And yet, beautiful beaches and a stunning ocean give us a feeling of tranquility and strength. This place has it all. We are getting closer to a research facility at the south border of the spawnlands. This is an excavation site, where they dug deep down to the lowest level they could reach. At the time, according to some of their notes, there used to be a lava ocean beneath all of the layers of the world. They have multiple reports of this ocean being present not just here, but in many other places as well. It is believed that in the Infdev era, this was the case for the entire world. The Aurorans were very curious to know what lies beyond the lava layer, but they never managed to go through it. But one day, something inexplicable happened. This layer of lava simply disappeared. It is unclear what caused this, but what they uncovered once the lava was gone was beyond words. Emptiness. Nothing is what lies under all of the layers of dirt and stone. The Aurorans were bright and even managed to make things that were thought to be impossible. Like bringing lava to the surface of the world in a time where lava could not be found anywhere else. But it seems that they could never explain the anomaly of the missing ocean of lava, and that may have haunted them until the very end. Inside this research facility, they worked on more experiments. There is a lava duplication room, which seemed to have stopped working at some point. We see another anomaly here, where lava and water are touching, but no cobblestone is being formed. And then there's an archive room, where they will record some of their findings on wooden signs. This is where we learned a little bit about their work. We decided to stay the night inside this abandoned facility this time, as we wanted to avoid any dangerous encounters of the night. The next day, we got up early. This is our last day in Aurora, and we still have a long way ahead of us. In contrast to the other places we have been so far, everywhere you look here, you can find mob-made structures. And even though this place is now deserted, we can easily imagine what their lives must have been like. The Aurorans built many of their structures here, by the Mob Sea. And despite not having boats to travel through this massive body of water, they built bridges to get across. This stepstone bridge connects the east to the southwest, to where the grinder is located. Made with mostly cobblestone and elder oak, the grinder would be considered a marvel in its time. With over 30 blocks tall, this structure had one purpose: to collect mob drops. This castle has 4 towers on each of its corners. And at the top of each tower, there's a small platform for mobs to spawn. As mobs would spawn in this dark place, some of them would wander off the edge of the platform and fall to their death. Then the Aurorans would simply collect the drops. This is a simple design. But unfortunately, it seems that this mob spawner never actually worked the way it was intended. Mobs would eventually spawn up in the towers, but would rarely fall off the edge. We are approaching the most important building here, in the center of Aurora. This tower was the first structure ever built by them. It reaches an incredible Y level of 128, the build limit of our world. This place had many uses on their day-to-day routine. It served as a lighthouse, guiding travelers safely whenever they were far away, and it was also their main storage area, where they would keep the resources used on many of the projects they had. But this place also had a very important use. This used to be the entrance of a mine. Deep underground the mob sea, a maze of corridors can be found. Hundreds of stacks of stone were extracted from this mine. Iron, coal, gold, and diamonds were also found here. Aurorans would spend the days working outside, and the nights deep down in the mines. Today, deep within the cave, it's pitch black. But see these openings here? If we remove this stone block, we can see the void. This means that back in the day, lava was present here. And its light will fill this entire mine, allowing them to explore further and further without the use of torches. They eventually sealed off the entrance to the mines from the tower and transferred to the beach just outside. Right here at the center of Aurora, flowers and tall trees are still present here. And down by the ocean, a small wheat field is ready for harvest. But as we look out at the ocean, something else catches our attention. Across the mob sea, creeper faces were sculpted on the side of this massive cliff. Mount Creepermore silently watches over the Aurorans. The existence of such unusual structure here in the center of Aurora poses many questions. Is this a work of art made to inspire its inhabitants? Could this be a cult or a sign of religious beliefs? Or is this simply a warning to their citizens to avoid getting anywhere near this dangerous mob that could explode at any time? Unfortunately, this remains a mystery still. A mystery that will get even more puzzling as we enter the last stretch of our expedition and cross the mob bridge. This incredible piece of architecture, 17 blocks wide, is what connects Aurora to the west. To support its 220 blocks length, 6 pillars hold this bridge in place. Each of these pillars depicts the face of a mob. Those were the only 6 mobs that existed back in the Infdev era. We are reaching the other side of Aurora now, and entering what is known as the Creeper Woods. Along the way, we encounter even more creeper statues in this mysterious forest. And not before long, we enter the last and most dangerous part of our journey. We'll have to go through an elder oak forest, as there's simply no way around it. We'll have to be on our toes while we cross. But we are lucky and made it through safely. And on the other side, we set our eyes on the most amazing structure ever built by this ancient civilization. We finally reach our destination. This is Chunk's Castle. It is simply the biggest building ever made by the Aurorans. It covers an entire island. It was possibly the last thing they ever built before vanishing from this world. This place must hold many answers. I can see a garden, farmlands, and a tower that is just as high as Aurora's lighthouse. This place seems to have everything. It is a collection of all of their knowledge and technology and culture. All of this in just one place. As much as we would love to enter this place and explore every single block inside, this is sadly the end of our journey. This castle here is actually not abandoned, and its owner sadly refused to participate in this documentary. Is this the home of Chunks, the builder, himself? Unfortunately, we simply don't know. Maybe one day we'll be able to go inside and explore this magnificent place. With its many secrets and breathtaking landscapes, we depart Aurora feeling both accomplished and awestruck. This is truly a place of wonder and mystery. The Aurorans, with their limited knowledge of the world, were able to create some of the most impressive structures we have ever seen. We wonder how much more still awaits to be uncovered.